who holds the police accountable? I mean, it's a huge question in any country, right? Today, we're going to dig into the legal blueprint for the Sri Lanka Police Force to figure out exactly who writes their rules, who manages their careers, and, yeah, even who decides what gear they get to carry. So, let's start with that fundamental question. Who actually makes the rules for the police? This whole idea of oversight is so central to how a police force works. And in Sri Lanka, the answer is laid out really clearly in one key document. And here it is. The entire system is built on this one piece of legislation, the Police Commission Act of 1990. You see, this law created a special body just to govern the police force, setting up a very clear structure for how they're supposed to be managed. All right, so here's how we're going to break it down. We'll look at how they police the police, how they set the standards, how they manage the officers, how they arm the force, and finally, we'll wrap up with the Commission's core purpose. So let's jump right in with the big picture. First things first, let's zoom out a bit. What exactly is this National Police Commission, and what is its main job? Well, in simple terms, the Act sets up the National Police Commission to be the central authority for the police. And here's the most important part. It's not part of the police force itself. Nope, it's an independent, outside body that has the legal power to set the rules. You know, a really easy way to think about it is that the Commission wears two big hats. First, it's the official rulebook writer, setting all the policies and codes of conduct. And second, it acts as the main HR department, managing the careers of pretty much every officer. This dual role, it gives them a ton of influence. So let's explore that first hat, the rulebook writer. This is all about establishing the fundamental rules that every single police officer has to live by, right from their very first day on the job. So what does that actually look like? Well, the Act gives the Commission some major responsibilities. It designs how people are hired, it literally writes the official code of conduct, and, this one's a biggie, it creates uniform standards for promotions to make sure the system is fair across the board. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. You can see it written right here in the law. Section 5A spells it out. The Commission creates recruitment plans and conduct codes for all officers. Doesn't matter if they're in the national or provincial divisions. The whole point is to have one consistent standard for the entire force. Okay, so on to the Commission's second major role, being the central HR department. This is where we move away from abstract rules and get into decisions that directly affect the day-to-day careers of individual officers. And when we say HR, we mean they have some serious power. We're talking promotions, transfers, hiring, firing, and all disciplinary actions. But here's where it gets really interesting. The way they use these powers isn't the same for every officer. Now, this is a super important distinction, so check this out. For all officers, the Commission sets the guiding principles, the big picture rules for stuff like promotions. But for officers who are in the national division, its power is way more direct. It has hands-on control. They're the ones making the final call on their appointments, their dismissals, and any disciplinary issues. So it's like they set the rules for everybody, but they directly manage a specific senior group. The Commission's power doesn't just stop with people and rules. It actually extends all the way down to the tools the police get to use. It plays a huge role in deciding what equipment officers have, and yes, that includes firearms. And the Act lays out a really clear process for this. First, the National Commission figures out the equipment needed for the national division. Then, and this is a critical step, it has to consult with the provincial commissions. It's only after that consultation that it determines the equipment for the provinces, which helps make sure everyone is on the same page. So we've talked about writing the rules, managing the people, and handing out the gear. Let's kind of bring it all home now and really get to the heart of it. Why does this whole body even exist? What's its ultimate goal? So when you boil it all down, it really comes down to these four pillars: setting consistent standards for everyone, managing officer careers, enforcing discipline when needed, and equipping the force properly. And the big why behind all of this? It's all about building a police force that the public can trust. By putting all these key functions in one place, the law is trying to create a system that's accountable for what it does, that's uniform in its standards everywhere, and that's fair in how it treats both the public and its own officers. And that leaves us with one final big thought. A commission like this really shines a light on a core challenge in policing all over the world. How do you find that perfect balance between strong, independent oversight on one hand and giving the police the freedom they need to actually do their jobs effectively on the other? It's a tough question, and it's right at the heart of what modern police governance is all about.